Some of the most important constants in my life to this date have been film, TV, food, and gaming! Yes, and gaming. Video games have quite literally shaped who I have become today. The reason I am this shape is because of video games. A while back, people did these 3x3 grids of the 9 most influential games in their lives. And I thought it'd be interesting to see which ones I would put in that grid. Better late to the party than never arriving at all, am I right, guys? Let's dive in, everybody, and take a little look at the games that have changed my life. The number 1 slot, I think, is gonna go to Pokemon Gold. I played and loved Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, but there was something about Pokemon Gold that just hit different. It did something that I didn't even know could be possible in video games. Firstly, it introduced a whole new set of Pokemon. To me, the first 151 Pokemon were all there was. And then Pokemon Gold and Silver come along and are like, hey, you wanna go to this new place called Johto and it's full of all these new creatures? Look at this Cyndaquil, isn't it just adorable? And so you go on this brand new journey. You adventure through Johto, you make new friends along the way, you trounce 8 new gym leaders, you beat the Elite Four. Game over, question mark? No. The game is like, hey, what if you go back to Kanto and you play through your Pokemon Red and Blue journey again, but with new and different challenges along the way? It truly blew my mind as a kid. It still blows my mind now. And Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver are truly magnificent remakes. I am so glad they exist and I still play them regularly to this day. Slot number 2 is gonna go to Super Metroid. I mean, you knew this was coming. You knew it was coming and you had time to prepare and you didn't. I could gush about this game for hours, but I've already done that, so I don't need to do it again. What I will say though, is playing this game as a kid, it felt like a very mature experience. I'm no speedrunner by any means. I don't do that. But I do love a challenge. Oh, you know I like a challenge. This was the first ever game that made me think, I wonder if I could do that again, but faster. So I would just play it over and over again until eventually I could beat it in under 3 hours. I love this game very dearly, and maybe one day we'll get a remake, but honestly, I don't care if it doesn't, I still love it. Slot number 3, Super Mario 64. This game changed everything, man. Like a lot of people, I'm sure this was my first ever 3D video game experience. And it's hard to recollect exactly how that felt. And I don't really know what could evoke those kind of feelings again today. Your entire perspective on what a video game can be just shifted. I'd only ever really played 2D side-scrolling platformers, so to enter a whole new dimension, quite literally, you could move in any direction, you could move the camera anywhere within reason. I'm always trying to imagine what is gonna be the next thing that makes us feel that way again. And it could be VR, maybe. I've had some cool VR experiences, but nothing that's rocked my world the same way as that. But it could get there. Maybe. Number 4 is gonna be Stardew Valley, baby. I have sunk hundreds of hours into various farms on this game, and I've still yet to complete it. This is just the perfect game for me. I really love video games where you're slowly making gradual progress and every action you take actually matters towards the bigger picture. And this game does that. Everyone you talk to, every fish you catch, every seed you sow, every rock you break, it all matters slowly but surely, and that just feels incredible. And also, to talk about Concerned Ape for just a moment, I admire anyone who can take on a project like this all by themselves. It is truly inspirational to see what one person can do. Concerned Ape, I dedicate this toot to you and to you alone. Number 5 is gonna be Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight, I immediately fell in love. As soon as I was falling through the King's Pass and I landed and started moving around and swishing my nail about, I knew that this beautiful game was exactly my kind of thing, and I was not disappointed by any single moment of Hollow Knight. And that makes sense. It's taken inspiration from a ton of games that I love, and it's used it in a really smart and interesting way. It's just such a wonderful experience from beginning to end. And it's the only game I've ever completed with the Donkey Konga Bongo, so that's gotta count for something. Number 6 is going to Bloodborne. Yes, that's right, I absolutely love this dark and horrific game. It's actually the first proper Souls game I've ever really played after I binned Dark Souls 1 after a few minutes in 2011. All my friends were talking about just how fantastic this game was, so I got a copy of it, started playing, and I hated it. I kept getting my ass kicked in the early stages of Yharnam over and over again. It was brutal, and I was just about ready to bin it when it was actually Bertie who gave me the encouragement to keep going. Dying and learning is a whole part of the process. I think I just needed somebody to tell me losing 4,000 souls is not that big a deal. So I kept going, and eventually it clicked, and I think some masochistic part of my brain unlocked. I actually really liked the punishing nature of the game because it makes victory that much sweeter. Number 7 is going to be The Sims. Let me paint you a picture of Lil PJ here. Going into town with his mum whilst she's shopping for curtains in John Lewis, and obviously not having that kind of passion for curtains, I'd go and check out the computer section. I'd look at all the computer games, which is a relatively new world to me. We'd only recently got a family computer, so PC gaming was not something that I was familiar with. I saw this one game called The Sims. The box was super intriguing, and upon reading the description of the game, I'd never played anything quite like it before. I needed this game. Unfortunately, I didn't get the game right away, but every time we would return to John Lewis, I would go to that computer section and I would just hold the box and imagine what it would be like to own this game. Not even knowing truly what the gameplay was, but it just sounded so intriguing. Months later, I finally got the game for a birthday or something probably. And when I played it, I just felt like a god. I was in control of everybody's lives. I controlled who lives and who dies. I wielded a power in my hands like never before. I think I may have become the first 10-year-old megalomaniac. Number 8 is going to Minecraft. Growing up, I never really got to experience the joy of a LAN party, where everybody brings their gaming setups together and plays all together. I was just a little too young for it. I think me and my friends using PictoChat on the Nintendo DS was probably the first ever LAN party I ever went to. It wasn't really much of a party. And then I went to university and I discovered this game that was still in beta called Minecraft. Me and my friends, we just absolutely loved the creativity of it and the adventure of it. A bunch of us would bring our computers together in one person's room and we would just play Minecraft deep into the night. And it was fun because we were all discovering the game at the same time. There wasn't really a readily available wiki, so we had to take notes and trade information on how to craft things. That was a really special and unique experience. Number 9, the final game in my grid. This is a weird one, and I'm sure that nobody here has heard of it, but it's a 1995 PC game called 3D Movie Maker. Now, this is a weird one for me to put in the grid because it's only kind of a game, and I only ever played the demo of it that came packaged with the family computer. Even though I only had the demo, I played the absolute living hell out of it. Obviously now we have far more sophisticated tools to help kids get into storytelling, but this was my first window into the world of making movies. I would spend hours creating cinematic masterpieces like man runs down road, gets hit by car, and rips a massive fart when he gets knocked over. Yeah, you could record your own sound effects, so there was a lot of farting. In some weird way, this game unlocked a part of my brain and made me realize this is what I want to do. I want to tell stories in some form or another. I think maybe at the time I just didn't realize quite what that meant, but it really had a massive, massive impact on my whole life. If I hadn't ever played that game, who knows? Honestly, I might not be making this video right now. It was very difficult to put this grid together because there are a ton of games that I love. Donkey Kong Country 2, Undertale, Star Fox, Skies of Arcadia, Animal Crossing, Plot. But I was really trying to put together a grid of not just my favorite games, but games that mean something to me or have had some impact on my life in some way. I would like to give a couple of honorable mentions that didn't quite make the grid. One being Lego Island, an old PC game. I omitted this one from the grid because I'm not sure it's even a viewable experience anymore, let alone a playable one. That sounds really harsh, but it's just, it's not a good game, I don't think, but it was my first taste at an open world game. I think this one is definitely best viewed with nostalgia goggles.
I'm the pizza delivery dude, the dude with the food.
I also want to mention RuneScape 07. I played the shit out of this game when I was a kid. Every day when I'd come home from school, I'd get on RuneScape. It definitely changed my life, not necessarily for the better. I once got scammed in RuneScape for hundreds of lobsters and it broke my heart. It really did. So it didn't quite make the grid, but it is a big part of my formative teen years. So there it is, my grid of the top 9 influential games in my life. So what about you? What's your 3x3? What's your top 9 influential games? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. If you enjoyed it, please hit me with a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Stay rad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.